Lin Decode number 15. What sort of attribute to look for the right one to settle down? On the previous decode number 14, I've talked about how divorce on trying to winning the child over is it's a sign of manipulating, and as well with the domestic violence and how I go through. And I think it's one of the most important videos, most touchy videos that I've ever touched, even though I didn't go through a great emotional impact, but it did, however, damage my life. But yeah. Anyways, let's go to today's decode. So, I don't have, a father or someone who guided me to find the right sort of attributes. And you tend to go and watch YouTube videos to see, what's the ways to find the right one. And I came across with the coach Red Pill. And on his video, he stated that the right one to get married is the one who has the same goal as you. Nothing else. But also there's red flags that you need to look for. And last 3 days ago, I said I questioned the same thing with my dentist friend. He's in the industry for that many years, and he's probably like 5 years older than me. And I asked him, what sort of attributes if you look for the right one. The first thing that he came out of his mind is that there's no way he'll get married because of, in today's world, married and divorce is very too casual. Nobody is very, very serious to live or die towards the end. But that's what marriage is about. You love that person until you die. And I said to him, come on, let's be serious about this. What do you really look for? Maybe a potential one. When it comes to the one that maybe you want to settle down, or maybe perhaps you want to have a long-term relationship, then get a settle down, or whatever, how the way you want to go. So he said to me, family, looking at the family background. Second of all, look at her personality. And third and fourth, I kind of forgot what he mentioned about. But I guess it just talks about his, I really forgotten what's the third and fourth one. But it's all about the attributes and as well the values and things like that. But one thing he didn't mention was education. And I questioned him with that. What about education? What's the difference if she has a master degree like you? You have a master of dentist, or would you date the same kind, like dentist? And he's like, no. And I said, would you date a master student, or who has a master degree or bachelor degree? He's like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? Because education is important. He's like, yes, but not in today's world, because everyone can go to university. And that kind of struck me, because it's true. Even myself, who's a high school dropout, and I can go to university via pathway through trade school or TAFE. And he said he doesn't care, or no matter what sort of culture it is, he'll look through the family background, their personality and their values, and what's presented right in front of him. Then he'll look into them. What the coach Red Pill talks about is finding the red flags. And what is the draw line? And I know in today's world there's no such thing as virgin. What is classified as a no-go zone, a damaged woman? And what Coach Red Pill said, if a woman has dated more than 2 partners, she's damaged. So I said the same thing. I said the same thing to the dentist. I'm like, what is the draw line even though this girl has ticked all the boxes, right, for you. What if the girl has dated 15 guys, including one night stands? And he said he'll think about it. It is very difficult. And he also himself, he does, Tinder as well. And it's very interesting to go through all that, to finding out what is the right one to settle down, and you have to look through all that and everything. And obviously, I didn't mention on this part, but I did mention the other part is, I think the culture is very, very important to understand. And culture plays a huge role. Now, I'm not saying Australian culture, I'm saying the individual, where they actually comes from. It's better to understand the culturegram before you're getting yourself into. God knows what's going on. For example, if you date a Papua New Guinea and one of their family member has passed away, they have to go through mourning for months. And they'll stop work, they'll stop everything, family gathering, and they mourn all the way through. Or perhaps Chinese, right? If you're married to the girl, you're married to the tribe. What I mean by tribe, you're married to the family, and family comes first. And I'm not generalizing all of them, and these are the stuff that it's very strong to understand. But also, finding the red flags and things like that, and obviously if she has emotional, mental health, that's a red flag. Because what Coach Red Pill and Stefan Molyneux is saying, that when you engage, you used to in together in relationship, you invest what's ahead of you, or goals or dreams. You don't want to deal with emotional problems that is going to stop you achieving there. And it's impossible to solve it, because first off, we're not medical staff. First off, we're not professionals. And third of all, it's not that easy. So even though we have psychology or social workers or counselors or medication, it's not the best of the best. Because you wanted to marry to the strongest person who's capable of delivering not only just your family, but also she has the title of being a housewife. No, sorry. What is the word again? Homemaker. Sorry. She has to be a very strong homemaker. She has to be very strong-minded, very, very encouraging, positive, because you're marrying to a homemaker, a wife, or perhaps in the future, a mother, or even better, if you can, a career woman. Right? So you have 4 of them. And that is the same thing for a woman to look for a guy. Look for a provider, a husband, who delivers everything and the goals and whatever, to put food on the table. Or that sounds very patriarchal, but I'm pretty sure what I'm trying to say is you wanted to find a right fit to able to build a family, right? A family tree. And I mentioned this to the dentist friend, and he kind of got shocked about one side of his. If she has experienced a form of sexual assault or rape and hasn't been reported or hasn't been doing anything, she's damaged. And he was shocked. He's like, what? Why is that? And I said to him, she'll think differently. Things may haunt her. And you can watch on the news nowadays for regards to pedophile sex rings, or perhaps with the priest sex offenders, and how much it destroys their livelihoods. Or those are Me Too movement, and those who has experience, and you can see how much it destroyed their life and how they view men differently and things like that. So the Coach Red Pill has stated a lot of red flags, and it's very difficult to find the one that the Coach Red Pill has mentioned. The right one to settle down. Because when you're going to marry to that person, you're bond together, you're ride and die together to deliver the best of the best. Whether you want a house, whether you want a family, whether you want to do anything. That is a very, very serious thing. And like I said, at some points when you go through that, it makes sense. But there's so many going through red flags. Perhaps those, he even stated, those who are emo, who has tattoo or piercings from certain areas get damaged. And to look back at it, and you look at, I don't know, in your family members, or you look at those who in strong, long-term marriages, last long marriages, or perhaps those who went through, I don't know what's marriage nowadays, the divorce rate, I think after 2 years or after 7 years marriage. But those who are after 10 years, when you look at their relationship, majority of them, right, what are their attributes, what are their values when you look at them? And I'll guarantee you, it's not like all of them have a lot of tattoos or piercings or mental health. I'm pretty sure that mental health comes after the marriage or during the marriage, probably the work relations. But what I'm trying to say is mental health during the adolescent, throughout the adulthood, before engaging in relationship. My landlord said one of the biggest concern of online dating is mental health, because nobody states mental health, and it's a worrisome for him. And he has gone through dates, and he says there's a lot of those who are not keen on to go with. So all I'm saying is that to find the right one, based on different point of view, it's so hard. And I'm not going to say to myself I'm the perfect fit, but there should be a line. But nobody who predicts your marriage or your long-term relationship, or perhaps your short-term relationship, or your date, or your Tinder date, or your Facebook poke, or your swiping right, the future partner is maybe one of them. And it's scary because we're living in a society that's constantly changing, where especially in the Western world, a lot of the laws has changed, makes it encouraging to do so, engaging this sort of behavior, where other cultures does not agreed on. You get stoned to death, that sort of stuff. You get disowned, you get shamed if you engage in adultery, which is pretty much saying like if you engage with casual sex. And I don't know. I think when it comes to marriage, it's best to follow the conservative values. But that's what I think. Because if a lot of philosophers or great people out there who's saying that, you got to look for a lot of red flags, it means it's conservative values. And you got to watch out. So that's the video of the day, and I hope you guys will I don't know. It's very difficult. I think everyone's is different, but I think there's no formula or anything, but I think that's the right path. I think you can't go wrong with conservative values, but where do you find a traditional conservative woman in today's world? Or men. I can't say woman all the time. Men. Who are serious, who take the responsibility to go through, because things has changed differently. So that's the video.